Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Rika.
And Big Boy Sam here bringing you Jujutsu Kaisen movie 0.
So the song in the beginning was a real mixture of cultures. I found it had rock elements. The female vocalist was merging her voice with the instruments, which gave it a really interesting sound, making it even hard to distinguish her voice from the music at some points. Then you had like the Western singing, and then you also had instruments that sounded like nature itself, which had like a lot of Asian elements. Loved it.
Yeah, I thought that the first 5 minutes were very beautiful to look at in terms of the imagery. I thought they were done nice. It was very natural to see. The greens were really textured. And then I think it kind of slipped and then became a bit samey for me. They didn't focus too much on the substance, I don't think. Or they didn't really tell you a story with the imagery, I think. I think it was just a second thought and they just left it there.
So basically in this, Yuta had a childhood friend that died and somehow attached herself to him as cursed energy. Okay, well at the end we find out that it was actually Yuta that cursed her because of some kind of ability that he has from his family line. And we saw a past gojo putting his life on the line for Yuta the same way that he did in season 1 for Itadori Yuji. So it was actually nice to see that Gojo has a history of doing this for people, and he also said that he believed that youth should get a chance to live. So obviously we didn't really get that much of a response in season 1 for his behavior, but seeing it again, we actually got to see why.
Look, there were too many parallels, not just one. I mean, first of all, look at the names, Yuta, Yuji. I mean, like, come on. And then also on top of that, you had them both in the same room with the same sort of sentence for just being a little bit different when it came to curse energy and sentenced to death. And obviously with both of these students, Gojo said, no way bro, I'm Gojo, it's not gonna go down like that. Again, also we've seen that the guy that Gojo was fighting, that was part of Ghetto's team, is the guy that he obliterated using the purple technique in the actual show. So that was very nice to see. I mean, there's so many similarities between Yuji and Yuta, and I thought it kind of brought it home, to be honest.
I agree. So we usually see Jujutsu sorcerers going off on their own or pairing off. In this one, we actually saw a mass battle. I know we have seen one of those before, but this one was different because we also got to see other Jujutsu sorcerers that are weaker, that were doing other things during the battle, such as removing the injured from the battle and helping people with their injuries and things like that. It was actually nice to see them working together as like a proper unit. It almost felt more like an army unit, although it was a little bit less organized than that.
Yeah, you're right. It felt like a brigade. It felt like Gordon Ramsay's kitchen. It felt like a team on the basketball field. It felt like Hayaku. Look, yeah, it did. But the weaker ones, I feel, were just there for being their sake. Like, we know stuff like that is going on. If they focused more on the actual fighting or the actual telling of the story, I thought it would have been a better use of their time than me seeing, you know, a girl who simps for Gojo moving someone and then pretending that her name was Brain Anglaus from Overlord. Like, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't impressed at that bit. I'm not saying that it was terrible. I wasn't impressed with the lot of fluff that I thought was there. And also, according to a few of my friends who have actually read the source material, Nanami was not supposed to be there. And yet, he came in and did his thing. Now, don't get me wrong, that was one of my favourite parts of the whole movie. So, I guess, you know, that's a lot to be said. But yeah, I mean, Nanami, well done. Like, good for showing up, working overtime. Love it.
So, for me, I really could not connect to the love story that they had going on between Rika and Yuta. I think that Gojo and Ghetto's story was more interesting, and I would have actually preferred to have watched their story unfold, because even in the small flashbacks that we saw between them, that seemed like the better story. Ghetto had a lot in him, his goal that he was actually trying to achieve, why that changed for him, or if it even changed in the first place. Was he faking it the whole time? I actually would have liked to see that.
Yeah, why did Geto flip a 180? Like, what happened? And why were these two good friends and now don't talk? What happened? No, instead we got some characters we didn't care about in the show coming out. Not Yuta though. Love Yuta though. You can, like, you're not who I'm talking about here. You're friends though. You're friends. Like, we got characters that came from the show that shouldn't have been there. We got people that's coming around just being fillers, and yet the real story is, why just Geto simp for Gojo?
Okay, so it turned out that Geto actually wanted to kill Yuta and take Rika because he has this interesting power where he can actually swallow curses to make himself stronger. So that's what he wanted to do here with Rika. And you can understand why, because when Yuta actually did awaken the power and truly accepted Rika, we found that she was very, very strong. She was even able to use Toge's power with the cursed voice.
That bit was sick. And I kind of, again, wish they explored that a little bit. How is Rika this strong? Why is she like the female version of Sukuna? We know that her background story is that she fell in love really hard and then she got cursed by Yuta. But what else? Why is she that powerful?
Well, I think they cleaned that up at the end when they were actually saying that Yuta was related to Gojo. And he is actually the one that cursed her. So he's actually the problem.
No,
Not Rika at all. So she's just a normal girl. She wouldn't have made herself that powerful or had the ability to do it. It's something about Yuta that actually made that happen. And you're right, this is something that they could have added more to the story instead of trying to concentrate on this weird love story that I just couldn't buy into. They could have explored other things. They could have explored how they were related and exactly what Yuta's power is, because now he's part of the team with no Rika.
You could have also explored a little bit between Yuta and Maki. Maybe had a weird, like, cursed spirit human, cursed wielder love triangle thing going on. But again, Rika's right. The love story between... let's be honest. Like, Rika was a kid and didn't understand anything. Like, do you even have the propensity to fall in love that hard at that age? It fell flat for me in that sense.
So why do you want them to try and come again with Maki?
Because
Let it
go.
go.
Don't know.
They failed once. They don't get a second chance on that one.
Bring back the real crew. Bring back Yuji, Navarro, and just bring back Yuji and Navarro in it.
So the fights were quite good. However, I felt like season's 1 fights were actually better. However, with the movie, I felt like the skills that they showed were better than season 1.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So good fights, but they were just, to me, okay.
Could it be that we've watched it a little bit too late, outside the hype?
No.
Yeah, it should stand alone, really, shouldn't it? Yeah, you're right. Good writing is good writing, period.
So, what do you think of our movie night for today? Overall, with the movie.
I mean, it was a good watch. Yeah, it was a good watch. I mean, I don't think I'd watch it again, but I'm glad I did.
To me, this movie was just okay. Not the worst movie. It was just okay. It was good enough to introduce us to Yuta, who I'm going to expect to see in season 2, to give us like a just quick overview of his background story and who he is there. So yeah, it was alright. And on that note, everyone,
if you disagree with us, or you agree with us, or you just want to have a chat, don't forget to DM us on Bomb Anime Insta, or leave a comment down below.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
And if you made it this far, we really do appreciate you.
Peace.